episode. This is going to be an interview with a targeted individual named Ron. He's from Baltimore, so check out his channel. It's Targeted in Baltimore. All right, everybody, let's welcome Ron from Baltimore. He's a targeted individual dealing with remote neuromonitoring, the same situation as me. So, Ron, you're full-blown telepathic. You got him talking to you and everything, right?
What's up, Kevin? Hey, thanks for getting me on here. But yes, my name is Ron. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, and I'm fully dealing with all the trauma-based torture, mind control, V2K, the microwave hearing, the voices. I'm dealing with everything, the whole enchilada, every little thing, 24/7, 365 days. I know what's been happening to me from what I can, like, I think it started around 2016. I mean, it probably started earlier, but that's when I actually started realizing little things were going on. But in 2018 is when it was like they just were like wide open with it, put it all in my face, and started like really just being in the wide open, just torturing me and letting me know that they're torturing me. And that's when all the trauma started. Before that, like in 2017 and 16, it was just little stuff. Like I always felt like I was being watched.
Right.
And I was living by myself in an apartment. This is how it started. So I was living in an apartment and I was on the bottom floor. And I started hearing, from being by myself, I started hearing like little noises. Like I couldn't explain it. And I was dating this girl at this time. And she was always complaining, like her stomach was always hurting, and she was always hearing moaning. Like when I would be at work, I'd come home and she's like, "Yeah, I'm always hearing moaning and stuff." And I lived in this apartment building. And I never paid no mind to it. I just, thought it was the neighbors. But now thinking back, I'm guessing that's when I was being like surveyed, and so of course we were in a good relationship, and then just out of nowhere, the relationship just fell apart. And neither one of us could explain why we were ending the relationship, but the relationship just ended, and we just went our separate ways. And
it sounds to me like she was being targeted as well.
Yeah, she definitely was. Like I said, her stomach was always hurting, and at the time, neither one of us knew what was going on. Like we didn't even know this existed. But she was. I would come home from work, and she would just be complaining about her stomach's always hurting. And like I said, we were in this happy relationship, and it just like out of nowhere just fell apart. Like I can't even explain it. Like the more I have been dealing with this, I've been thinking back on that, and it was definitely something going on. Like, because shortly after my relationship ended with her, I was alone in the apartment again. And then that's when I started picking up, like, I always felt like I was being watched, and I started hearing voices, and I was, like, stuff just started getting blown out. It was just weird. Things were just weird.
See, so in my situation, it was my ex that did this to me for a lot of reasons, but, and a lot of people, it is their ex, but, and in your situation, there is a possibility that maybe it's your ex's ex that has something to do with this.
I thought about that. I actually just thought about that the other day. I was watching one of your videos, and something kind of clicked, and I'm like, because he does have some connections, like, he has some connections. So I don't know.
I mean, maybe she was on remote neuromonitoring, and then that's how you ended up on it, because because my situation, I'm on remote neuromonitoring, so whoever I come across, if they're not already on it, they're going to get put on it, and if they're already on it, the people who have me on it are going to try to negotiate to get that person's neuromonitoring, or at least access, because they love to have the full spectrum of what's going on. So, they put my family on it, and any girl that I date or anything like that, they're going to end up on remote neuromonitoring, or at least these gang stalkers are going to try to access their neuromonitoring to be able to get the full spectrum of what's going on.
Yeah, I can definitely back that up, because I myself am definitely on remote neuromonitoring, which the way that I know that is I drive a truck, and I live in Maryland, and I have drove to New York, I have drove to Florida, and I can get out of my truck, I can go into a store in Florida or New York anywhere I go, I can get out and I still hear the voices. I still hear the voices. I still feel the torture.
Right.
Like they because I sit a lot during the day, they focus all their torture, their trauma torture on my stomach, and they just boil my stomach, and they just run up and down my insides, my organs, and
Right.
like I said, that happens in Florida, that happens in Pennsylvania, all along the East Coast.
Yeah,
So
I've talked to a girl who actually, she goes through the same thing that we go through, and she confirmed for me that even on an airplane, she could receive the broadcast even while she was in flight on an airplane. So
yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't think there's any way to block it.
all day when I'm driving, it's crazy. All day when I'm driving, if I think of something, like I said, if I drive in my car, they're always in the back, letting me know that they're there. If I'm
Right.
driving in my truck, they're behind me. I guess they got a broadcast to a solid surface like a wall, because it's always behind me, and it seems like it's on a wall. And I'll be driving down the road doing 70 miles an hour on the beltway, and if I think of something, boom, that quick, they'll repeat that quick. Like
Yeah.
it don't matter. You cannot outrun it. You can go to state. Like there is no outrun. So I know I'm definitely on the mode on mine.
Right. Well, the only way to truly solve the problem is to gain access to neural monitoring and control your own settings, and that's what these gang stalkers that do this to us, they have their own neural monitoring. They're on the same neural monitoring as we are, and a lot of people seem to overlook that these gang stalkers are on the same neural monitoring. They just have possession, but they also have possession of ours, and they put us on this, and they're accessing our neurological control panel without our consent. So that's how they're able to do a lot of these things.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what else I deal a lot with. They do a lot of that dream probing and dream raping. They do a lot of that to me. Like what I realized, this is some of the things I realized with the dream probing. So I'll be like sleeping, and you know how you get in that REM state. So they'll dream probe me and put me in scenarios. I'll get put in scenarios, and matter of fact, like 2 nights ago, I was kind of sleeping, and they did this a couple times to me, like trying to find out what information I know. Like they'll put up. So 2 nights ago, I'm dreaming, and I walk into a party, like I was like back in the day walking into a house party, and I felt like I knew all the people around. There was a bunch of people. I walk in, and I'm like saying hi to everybody, and all of a sudden it flashed. You know how your dreams flashed. Also, I flashed, and I'm telling my story of my whole situation that I'm going through, and then it was like, you know, I kind of flashed out of my dream, and I realized, you know, they're like trying to figure out what I know, because maybe like a week or two ago I was in another scenario where I was telling my story of what I'm going through. So that leads me to believe, you know, that's how they find out what you really know and what you don't know, and like what kind of information you know. So they put me in a lot of like dream scenarios.
They need you to think. They need you to think about because
Yeah.
a lot of people think that they're mapping your brain and they know everything you know, and they can know your memories, but it's not true. You have to think something for them to know it. And if you don't think it, then they don't know it. So when you're in a subconscious state, they probably could try to manipulate you into thinking something. Like, you know, the girl that has me on neural monitoring, she would kind of talk in her sleep a little bit. So I used to ask her questions, like a little bit of an interrogation while she was asleep, to see what she would tell me. And, you know, that's the same kind of thing. When we're in a sleep state, we're more vulnerable, and we can receive the broadcast because we're not clogged up with everything that's going on around us. So the broadcast is coming to us much more clearly, and it can be very manipulative over your dreams.
Yeah, that is true. Another thing, like the voices, like we really need to get the voice thing out there. Like try to get that stereotype off hearing voices, because like you've said in many of your videos, right when you say you're hearing voices, like I went through. It's funny because you opened up a lot about what you went through in the beginning, and I have it on my videos. But a lot of the stuff that you went through, I went through in the beginning, because I was so confused and I was like freaking out,
Yeah.
running all over the places. And it all started because I started telling people I was hearing voices. And right when I started saying I was hearing voices, everybody's like wanting to commit me and tell me I'm going crazy, and I start questioning myself, am I going crazy? But it was
Same
like
thing with
at
me.
the time I wasn't hearing voices in my head. I have heard them now, but I wasn't hearing them in my head. It was always from behind me, and they were always like, they did great. I think. See, here's the thing. I don't know for sure. I'm on like definitely the sex program, and then also they always flash pictures on me, and just and I don't know, a few months ago it was like they were always trying to tell me like the subliminal messages. They were flashing pictures to me, and I could always hear them trying to tell me to kill myself and stuff like that. So they would flash these pictures of like people being like hanging themselves, and so I went through that for a while. So people going through that, like that's pretty hard to.
Well,
You got to be a strong person to deal with that.
when you can see a vision in your mind, you're good at receiving the broadcast. So because their broadcast, all of this stuff is coming to you through broadcast, and they can send. I mean, they could play your favorite movie to you if they wanted to, and if you're in tune enough, you can see it. Because the only difference between what they have going on and what we have going on is they have this headset that's really like just an amplifier, and it emits directly into their mind, into their head, into their eyes, and we get the same signals that they get, but we're just not using the device. So it is possible to see from, like, I've seen their view before. I've seen them where they are. I've seen pictures flash, and I've seen all sorts of broadcasts and different. And some of it is just broadcasts that they can make up. They can make up like hologram scenarios and broadcast at you like a movie. But I've actually seen the real holograms too. I have some of those videos on my channel as well.
Yeah, I've seen them. I've seen the ones on your channel, and I've also seen them. I can, like you said, I can see it really well. Like when they flash something into my head. Like, I'll tell you this. So the other day I was sitting in my truck, and there was a truck in front of me, and I was like, I had some time to kill, so I'm sitting there like trying to take a little power nap. Well, and I woke up. I seen the truck. It was about 10 feet in front of me. I literally dozed off because they can make you fall asleep. So I literally started dozing off, and that quick, in a split second, they flashed. Like the truck in front of me was backing into me. Like, I looked up, opened my eyes, seen the truck sitting there, started to fall asleep, and as I was falling asleep, the truck like looked like it was coming right back at me, and it jumped me up. And then I heard them laughing. Like, that's how quick it happened to me. It was so quick, and it was so crazy. But when I'm sleeping or half asleep, or now, now it's gotten to the point where I don't even need to go into the REM. Like, now, just when I close my eyes, like, matter of fact, before we started talking, I was laying down. When I close my eyes, they can pop their pictures, right? Like, their face, like them, they'll always pop into my head, like looking at me. And then right when I am like, I have my eyes closed, when I look over at them, they'll look away. And it's I just seen a girl not too long ago tonight. Like, as I'm closing my eyes, I'm like looking over, but really I'm laying down, and she looked at me and looked away. It was like that quick. So now it's like coming where I don't even need to be in REM sleep. It's like getting stronger or something. So
yeah, you're talking about broadcast?
I'm talking about like the
Are you talking about a real person or a broadcast?
No, this was actually a real person.
Okay.
Like it's weird because they'll send like flash real people to me. Like, I guess it's the people on the other end, because like on the weekends I'll get like all kind of people flashing to me, but it's actually real people. Like, people, it looks like I'm looking at you right now is what I will see with my eyes closed. I'll see like you in when I close my eyes. But I also see the holograms like really well. Like, if I'm laying on my bed, like in one of your videos, you had said how they like to lay on your bed and have like their little orgies and stuff like that.
Yeah, they do.
But in their broadcast, so like a week or two ago, I'm laying in bed, and I seen all the little silver holograms that are like outlined in black, and they're like bouncing all around my bed and shit. It was weird that I can see the silver holograms, and I've seen them that like be like 2 inches, and I've also been sitting here in my house and have looked over, and out of my peripheral, seen like a 7-foot hologram, like it just was a big shadow,
Right.
and it just looked like if you didn't know this was going on, I would have thought it was a ghost.
Well,
What I mean? Like it looked that real. It was like a big
the
shadow.
holograms can actually cast a shadow because EMF waves are reflective. So when the hologram is around you, and I learned this because I was watching one of the holograms in my backyard and I had my floodlight on, and as it was moving, I could see the shadow moving across the ground, and that's when I realized they can cast a shadow from the hologram. So all of those guy outside the curtain with the gun and all, it was to terrorize you in the beginning. That's how they were doing me, and I realize now that that was all broadcast, and the broadcast can make a shadow, and they use all of that against us.
Yeah, that video. There's a video that you have where it's like there's a guy in a tree, and I think you were trying to show your grandmother. I actually could see the guy in the tree that you were talking about in your video, or it was like a picture or a video or something. I could see the guy that was in the tree. It was like if you hit it just right, like you could see somebody in the tree. Like,
yeah. And that's a completely unedited video. I didn't edit. I thought about going back and editing it and try to adjust the contrast and stuff and see if I could get it to show up better. But most people can see that one. I got about 10,000 views on that one, and most people can see that one.
No, I'm right there with you, man. Like I'll tell you, I back up pretty much everything you're saying. Like I'm experiencing it, and like I try to keep saying, I am not a whistleblower. I mean, I'm just a normal person that is living a normal life. That this was just thrown on me, and it sucks, man. Like it sucks. It's hard because you just like. I don't even want no money. I just want my reputation. Like I want people to believe me. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
important to me too. I want to prove it and make people believe it.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Like this is crazy, and I think it's so much bigger than what we even know. I think we're just like we're experiencing it and getting all the trauma from it. But like you were saying earlier, like what sucks is when I go around people, like they can, I've seen them control the people. Like they'll, like if I'm standing in line, I'll see somebody walk up and just stop, and every time I go around somebody, they get them to do the coughing and the sneezing, but just to let me know that they're there with me.
Ran out of time, but make sure you check out part 2 of the interview with Ron from Baltimore. His channel is targeted in Baltimore, so check that out and check out the part 2 to this interview. Yeah.